Welcome back to another episode of Cactus Core Plays Asagao Academy. My name is Bobby.
I'm Kevandre.
And I just said some horrible shit off the microphone.
What a twist.
So now we have this awkward feeling in the room. It's great. So last episode,
Satch invented VR.
Right, we went there, we made some weird-ass choices.
We picked the vanilla cake, and he's probably getting mixed signals from us now.
Right. Vanilla cake and chrysanthemums. So I have no idea if that has
Why
any
would you
impact.
pick a cocoon? Obviously, you're going to pick a chrysanthemum.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Obsession by Alfenstein.
Yes, I mean, that's obviously fine. But yeah, and then we came back, and Maya asked a really good question on if we even wanted to continue playing in the tournament, because Satch dropped hints like, hey, this is probably going to work out. You should probably keep practicing.
Right.
And then we had an awkward decision between four choices, and we decided that we are proud, independent women who are only in it for the games.
Right. We want to play game for ourselves.
Right. So, now we're playing video games with Maya to train up, and she's going to get our little pink butt, and that has me very excited, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's already wet from Satch saying copacetic, and then he just got even wetter from Maya, so...
Yeah.
And there are children screaming outside. I can't do much about that.
Yeah.
So, if you hear them, we apologize to your ears.
If you want to know my opinions about children, go to the last episode of Gravity Rush 2.
Yeah, I don't know how heavily edited that's going to be. I'm going to have to revisit that.
I said some awful shit on the microphone.
He sure did.
Yeah, it was great. My personally favorite episode. Even if it never ever airs and we edit the shit out of it. Personal favorite, number one.
Yeah, and if I edit that, I'm going to have to edit this now.
No, you're not.
Oh.
So we added the disclaimer, it might be edited. So, long story short, I'm an awful human being.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead.
The next night, I was still working as Mai prepared for bed. Oh, and we're in chapter 3 now.
Yes, that's right.
Are you not going to sleep?
No, I think I need to finish this paper. I want to get it all done tonight.
She made a face. For a second, my heart stopped. Did she know what I was planning? I still don't get why we need to work on... I still don't get why we need to know the anatomical proportions of Goombas.
Look, it's very important. Yeah, me neither.
Thank goodness.
Good night.
Well, don't stay up too late.
I won't.
She crawled into her bunk and under the covers. In no time, she was fast asleep. I hate people who can just fall asleep right away. I'm so jealous.
Dude, I go to bed at like 9.
Yeah.
I'm awake till 1.
This motherfucker, he'll just go into his bedroom for a second and then he falls asleep for 16 hours.
Yeah, and then other times I just don't sleep at all. I'll come home from work, I'm out. That's it. You don't see me.
Yeah, I can't hear from him. We had plans. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's great.
To be fair, I've been sick, so fuck you.
All right. It happens even when you're not sick, though.
To be fair...
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Oh, God.
Honk you.
I waited a few minutes to ensure she wouldn't wake up, tapping my pencil idly against my desk. I hadn't told her what I was going to do. I hadn't told anyone, but going out after curfew wasn't really that big of a deal.
Say that word again.
Curfew.
Say it normally.
Curfew.
There you go.
Yes.
I had to make sure you understand how words work.
I do not. Okay, that was a bold lie. If I got caught, I would be in serious trouble, but that didn't matter. I needed to sneak into Satch's room and give the ride on the old disco stick.
Yeah.
Satch was spending every day in that library and in the Normal Boots Club trying to clear our names. There wasn't much I could do to help him in there, but surely no one would mind if I did a bit of snooping on my own. When I was finally sure Mai was asleep, I slipped out of our room. Luckily, I didn't run into anyone on my way out of the dormitory. No one was supposed to be out past 9, so it wasn't a big surprise, but no one was roaming the hallways either. I've never been out past 9. I stepped into the cold night air and took a deep breath. A slight wind blew through the campus, raising goosebumps against my skin. Shivering, I headed towards Poppy Hall. There was no way I'd be let in the clubroom during the day, but at night... My footsteps echoed across the walkways. There wasn't a single soul around me, and hardly any light. Since people weren't supposed to be out after dark, the lampposts were few and far in between. If I were attacked, no one would notice. Shaking my head, I sped up, In no time, I made it to Poppy Hall. I crept into the hallway. A still silence encompassed the entire building. Suddenly, I was seized with a fear I never experienced during the day. Wouldn't this be, locked, though? Like, the whole hall? I assumed that maybe Mai has keys because she stole all the keys.
I mean, maybe, but, on the MTSU campus, shit wasn't locked, ever.
Really?
Yeah, you could just... Library was supposed to close at, 2 a.m., and they were supposed to lock it down. They did. They fucking did not.
Interesting.
They just, hey, everybody's gotta go now, and then you wait 30 minutes, and then you just walk right the fuck back in.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very strange.
They did not lock shit. One time, out of college, self-incriminating here, they were doing some construction work there, and they were building, a new building. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff, because they're always doing construction on that campus. And it never fucking ends, and it takes away all your parking, and I fucking hate it.
I feel that.
But they were doing construction, and a couple of friends of mine got drunk, and all of a sudden we decided we needed some of, the cones and tape that they have laying around.
Okay.
So we just walked in, grabbed some of the cones and tape, and all that stuff. And it was, inside the buildings, too, where they had taped off saying, hey, don't go past this door, and whatever. So, no student IDs, no little key card, no locked doors. You just walk inside, grab some tape, leave.
I see.
No security cameras either, because they were doing the electric work and all that shit was down. Yeah, so one of my friends, not saying which one, still has that shit in his garage, just sitting there, in case he ever starts a construction project.
Okay.
Look, it's a weird time.
Sounds like a weird time.
Don't worry about it.
Alright, I will not.
But yeah, I'm assuming in a campus-like environment like this, where it's 24/7, you're living there, a lot of stuff isn't locked the way you might think.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Suddenly, I was seized with a fear I never experienced during the day. It was so quiet, so still, so empty. Now I understood why people thought abandoned schools were haunted. They were creepy as hell.
Yeah, they are.
I crept around the corner, past the science lab, and to the back of the building. The Normal Boots Club should be right here.
Crap! No!
It was locked. Stupid, stupid! Of course it would be locked. There's stuff in there people could steal. Of course a teacher would lock it. Now what? Must I go back empty-handed? Stupid Hana! I should have prepared for this. I heard a noise in the distance and my heart stopped. Footsteps. Someone was coming. Panicking, I searched around myself for a place to hide, but I was in the middle of the hallway with nothing but lockers and windows. I was trapped. Cringing, I closed my eyes. The footsteps came closer. Closer. They stopped in front of me. No one said anything. Hesitantly, I opened my eyes.
Mr. Saitomo?
He looked past me to the classroom door. Did you forget something?
Yes, I left my math book inside.
He nodded and pulled out a giant ring of keys. With a flick of his wrist, he motioned me aside. I shifted and he unlocked the door. He pulled the door open and gestured me inside. Hurry up, please! Deciding not to ask, I scurried inside. The club room was much the same as I remembered it. I wanted to take a peek around, but now that Mr. Saitomo was here, I decided it was better not to. Still, there was only one place I could look. I went to the back of the room, where the large metal closet rested. Please don't be locked. It's unlocked! I pulled the door open and looked in. At the top were stacked a few boxes with miscellaneous items. Was that a skull and a crystal ball? Never mind.
I assume there's a story behind that somewhere.
Probably.
Is it where the ham smell comes from?
Below, where the boots once stood, was an empty shelf. I sighed. I was about to leave empty-handed when I remembered I needed a math book. Turning back to the locker, I pulled a random book out of the closet. Their boxes of junk came in handy, and I was about to close the door when I noticed something. There was a dent in the bottom of the closet, just under where the boots once stood.
But it's made of metal.
Fucking toff. Was that there before? I kneeled and ran my hand across the dent. Something heavy must have fallen into it to make one this large. Something heavy and angled, something hard to carry.
The boots!
Now that I thought of it, the boots were made of solid gold. Of course they would be heavy. Heavy, unwieldy, and hard to carry. Whoever took them couldn't have taken them far, that was sure. And if they didn't have access to the club room in the day, they must have gotten it the way I just did. Or they must have stolen the key themselves. But they would have done it at night, and then there was no way they could carry the boots all that way without getting tired or caught. Which meant they were still in Poppy Hall? Miss, are you finished?
Yes. Sorry, I'm coming.
Tucking the book under my arm, I closed the door and headed out of the classroom. Mr. Saitomo chaperoned me all the way back to Primrose Hall in a stiff, insulated silence. I wanted to ask him why he was wandering the halls at night, and why he'd let me off, and why he always wore that brown suit. But looking closer at it, the suit was slightly rumpled, and there was a red ascot stuffed into one of the pockets. I looked closer at Mr. Saitomo's face. He looked somewhat flushed. Had he been on a date? ...
old man.
If you don't tell, I won't either. He gestured at the book in my hand. I looked down to see a Dungeons & Dragons manual.
What?
I won't tell if you don't. He placed a finger to his lips, then turned on his heel and headed back to Poppy Hall. ...
old man.
Whose book was this?
That's not the important bit. Is he dating our teacher?
Miss Shizuka?
Yeah.
Probably.
Look.
That's my guess.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
She's into the saggy balls.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe she just likes brown suits.
Maybe. As I climbed the staircase back to my room, my curiosity and excitement began to fade. Thankfully, I was able to sneak back in, hide the book, and pop into bed before Mai was so much as moved a muscle. Great! Now I really was a thief!
Hana.
Hana, are you gonna get up or not?
Bah.
I squinted into the early morning light. If you don't hurry up, you'll be late. How long did you work on that essay anyways?
Essay?
I blinked at her. Whoa, you're really out of it. Don't deal well with no sleep, do you? Come on, get up. She flung my blankets off me. The cold air rushed in around my body, and I curled into a tighter ball. You have 15 minutes or I'm leaving without you. I sat up. Memories of the night before rushed back into my head. Mr. Saitomo, the book, and the dent. I got ready for school, speeding through my routine and grabbing something from our mini-fridge to tide me over until lunch. Ready to go?
Yeah.
By the time we made it to Poppy Hall, I felt much less groggy. My hypothesis about the boots came back to me, and without thinking, I mentioned it to Mai.
Hey!
You know, Mai, the boots were made of solid gold.
She turned to me in mild surprise.
Really?
Yeah, so? Where is this coming from?
I was just thinking, they'd probably be heavy, right? It would be too hard for someone to sneak them far from where they were taken. No.
You think they're still in Poppy Hall? There was a gasp from behind us. Mai and I whirled around. Wallid was standing less than a foot away, staring at us with wide eyes.
Is something wrong? Who was Wallid's voice?
I think that you were Wallid, but I don't remember what the voice was. I think it was just a kind of regular voice, because we don't really know Wallid very well.
Yeah, I don't, Huh? No, I didn't mean to startle you guys. I just fell asleep.
What?
I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I've been reading this Nintendo 101 book for 10,000 fucking hours. It makes no sense. I'm so tired.
Strange.
What?
You fell asleep, but you were walking.
Yeah, I know. It happens all the time, actually.
We just stared at him. He glanced around as if looking for a way out.
Well, it was nice running into you guys. Haven't seen you in a while. We should catch up sometime. I've got to get to class.
Bye.
Bye.
Wallid walked past, giving us a wide berth, hands in his pockets. I think it's supposed to be an E.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, look. It's become Americanized. I suppose the I one could be used now. I've seen it used that way before outside of this.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's supposed to be an E.
Yeah.
E old British way.
Classic.
That was really weird.
Do you think he heard us?
I think so. It was really suspicious regardless. I've never heard of Wallid falling asleep while walking.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange thing to do. Me neither. We looked at each other, an idea forming in the space between us. It wouldn't hurt to check things out a bit, just to make sure, you know?
Yeah.
You can never be too careful.
Just like that, we agreed. We would wait until everyone was at lunch. Then we'd do a little investigating.
Yeah. Classic girls. I need something to drink.
Lunchtime came. As everyone crept out of the classroom, Maya and I stayed behind, refusing to make eye contact with anyone. Our hope was that it looked like some sort of...
Some kind of protest.
The normal boots guys, and by extension the entirety of the class, were pretending we didn't exist. Most of our attempts at friendly interaction were completely ignored by the class. The normal boots guys got incredibly uncomfortable and just walked away. Well, some of them. Shane would shoot us a dirty look if we even got close to him. Whether they bought it or not, the classroom quickly emptied out, and Maya and I headed to the hallway.
So, I don't like that I am now to the point of not liking Shane as an actual human being.
Because of this character.
Because of this character, I know nothing about him.
Watch Madness! What's wrong with you?
I don't get into YouTube and gaming the same way that you do. I have my own separate process.
You said that you were going to watch it because of this.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, Bobby also said he was going to start watching our Mass Effect stuff to
Yeah,
make
I
a
said
fucking hypercut,
Yeah, I said
supercut,
that.
and have you started that yet?
Actually, I was gonna get the raw video from you, just so that way I don't have to do the times and you do it. I was gonna just take the clips and then get them to you as a simulation, so that way you can just compile it together and then cut out the ones that don't count. And you're like, no, never mind, that's done. That way it'd save a bit on time for you.
That's fine. We'll figure that out.
Okay, and then that way I'm not having to, go back and write down weird-ass timestamps, and hopefully I can just grab clip. Oop, there we go.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I figure we might need an external for that, so fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Maybe we'll get that fancy one that we got at work.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get one like that.
We got like a 500 gig solid state that is super fucking tiny for like
87 bucks.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
fucking ridiculous. Back in the day, a 500 gig solid state drive would run you, what, 1200?
Back in the day, meaning just like a few years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Ah,
Times
fucking,
they are a-changin'.
fucking crazy. Anyways, do we even know which one is Wallid's?
Well,
Wallid's?
Well, he's a first year, isn't he? It should be outside of his classroom. We'll be able to figure it out, and if not, let's just look at all of them.
My, you devious bitch. I love you so much.
I balked, but me? But Maya was totally serious.
Oh, yeah?
We reached the first floor landing and crept along the hallway. Thankfully, nobody was around. They were all engaged in the mad rush to get the good food before the cafeteria ran out. We crept around the corner into classroom 1-3.
It should be one of these.
We walked down the hallway, hoping for some kind of sign.
I saw the sign.
Then Mai stopped walking. Oh my gosh!
I saw the sign.
She burst into laughter and pointed ahead of her. Confused, I followed her finger. One locker in the middle of the left row was completely covered in stickers. Curious, I stepped closer. Images of Wallid's face peppered with various words were plastered across the locker. Meme Lord, Balrog the Butt, and other strange sayings were scrawled across each. So his YouTube channel is called Balrog. I did look him up a little bit. I haven't watched any of his videos yet. But
Okay.
yeah. So that's a thing. He is Balrog.
Big Lord of the Rings fan?
I would assume so.
what?
Okay.
You've got to be kidding me.
I don't really get it.
Once upon a time, a few years ago, back before he even came to the school, Wallid had a bit of a temper. Long story short, someone caught it on camera, uploaded it to the internet,
Oh.
and the rest is history, as you can see.
That reminds me of that video of a kid who... turned out to be a fake reaction, I want to say.
Okay.
But, like, his brother was recording it, and he had deleted his WoW account or something like that. And so the kid was just in his room, raging like a real cunt. But at one point he even, like, grabbed a remote and was about to, like, slam it against the wall, but instead he just kind of, like, almost tried to stick it up his own butt.
Yeah,
Super fucking weird.
it's good times.
So, are they saying that that's Wallid? Because I would watch his channel if that were it.
That'd be pretty interesting times.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Shame.
I'm not really sure. I don't think so.
We should investigate. Hey, Wallid, did you ever try to stick a remote up your ass for a YouTube video?
I mean, who hasn't?
Right?
During
fair.
the Wii era, that's what the rage was.
What?
I assume. I saw many videos of people shoving Wii remotes in places.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why?
It's a good shape for it. Not necessarily that place, but perhaps another place.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it many times.
Is it a good shape for
It
it?
even came with one of those condoms. So, like, it's easy.
Oh shit, you're right. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
So,
Okay, that makes a bit more sense now.
true.
I could see that. Good times.
Yeah.
Could you imagine trying to play tennis like that, though?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
It's a good workout.
Yeah, I suppose. Really get your core activated.
Yeah, the waggle controls are really great for that. I stared at the different images of Wallid's face.
This takes dedication. Did he do it, or did fans?
I honestly couldn't tell you. Anyways, let's get to work. Do you mind standing guard? I stepped into the middle of the hallway, alert for any sound or movement from either end of the hall. Look, bitches, if you're trying to clear your name of breaking into the normal boots room, breaking into another person's locker is not going to help if you get caught.
It might.
If the boots are in there, I guess it might.
Yeah.
Maya fiddled with the handle on the locker, sticking something inside the metal. In a few minutes, the door was open.
When did you learn how to do that?
I was a rich kid growing up. I had to learn a trick or two just to get out of my house.
Your parents didn't let you out of your house while you were growing up?
She made a face at me and opened the locker door. What in the name of... I leaned over her shoulder to see what she was looking at. Wallid's locker wasn't empty like mine and Maya's were, but there was no books inside. Instead, a litter of Barbie CD-ROM games were splayed across the top and bottom shelves. And there, in the center of the hook meant for a jacket or a coat, was a fluffy pink and white suit.
Dot, dot, dot?
Dot, dot, dot. I reached out to touch it. It was soft and there were silken petticoats underneath the shorts. My guess was the ensemble would hit Wallid somewhere in the mid-thigh region and the pants would flip up like a bonnet. The shirt was sleeveless with gold-painted buttons and zippers trailing off.
What is this for?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I've never heard of anything like... She shut the locker door. We've seen something we weren't meant to see. We can't mention this to us all.
Of course not. I don't really get what the big deal is, though. Brought it to his locker, so he must not be that shy about it.
I shook her head. You'd be surprised what you can sneak into a locker without anyone seeing.
I would not. I've seen many stuff snuck into a locker. And I've unlocked many lockers.
And I've never seen people use a locker, so it works out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In my high school, we had these walls of lockers,
Oh,
but
that's
nobody
right.
used them.
That's because you put all your lockers outside, because you're fucking weird.
Well, sometimes people would like just put an egg in there and leave it, so like the hallway would smell horrible, and it was a prank.
Dicks.
Yeah, I know, right? It was bad, and then the teachers were trying to figure out what locker it was. There's a lot of lockers.
But yeah, those little bitty, like, padlock things that they give you for lockers and all that stuff, they're super easy to get through. So, don't hide anything important or anything you wouldn't want seen inside of a locker, because assholes like me and my can pop into one of those things in about a second.
My.
Yeah. If you know what you're doing, you can get through a padlock faster than it takes to actually twirl in the combination.
Yeah, pliers. The important thing is that he didn't have the boots, so he's perfectly innocent.
Did you mean bolt cutters instead of pliers?
No. Let's just go eat lunch. They're the same thing, just one's bigger.
What an awkward silence for the channel.
I'm okay with that!
Where I stare at you
It
because
just
you're
stares at me,
fucking dumb.
And I'm just laughing, and it's okay. God damn it. This is why we needed a fucking camera. She stalked off, completely unconcerned as to whether I followed her. I ran to catch up. If Wallid didn't want people to know, there was no reason we should mention it. It would be pretty hard to explain anyways. When we made it into the cafeteria, we were almost the last to get our food. My eyes strayed to Wallid at the hidden block table. He was chatting happily, completely unconcerned with the odd suit he had in his locker. I felt blood rise to my cheeks, and then we locked eyes from across the room. Down my drink was the rhythm spoon. You know what I mean?
And then I jizzed in my pants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exclamation points.
Exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
I turned away and focused on getting my food. When we had the chance to sit down, I glanced over at the hidden block table and noticed Caddy, Ian, and Wallid watching me. I grabbed Mai and dragged her out of the catheter. I was terrible at keeping secrets. It was better just to avoid the situation entirely.
That's fair.
That night, I waited until long after Mai fell asleep to get up again. I changed back into my uniform in the darkness and snuck out of our room. Wallid hadn't taken the boots, but the look he, Ian, and Caddy gave me at the lunch stayed in my mind. It was almost hostile. I didn't understand why. They had no reason to know we were snooping through their things. It seemed to me that they were on the defensive, so it couldn't hurt to check. I ran across the grounds, this time avoiding the streetlights. I wasn't sure what gave me away with Mr. Saitomo, but it couldn't hurt to be more careful. I made it to Poppy Hall and wandered to where Wallid's locker was. Their club room should be around here somewhere. If I were a member of Hidden Block, what would I put inside the club room to indicate that that was where we met? It was hard. They all had such different, distinct personalities. But the loudest of personalities would probably have their way. Just then I walked past a classroom and noticed something pasted on the windows caught my eye. ...
Question mark?
I tried the door. It was open. I stepped into the room and was immediately hit with the pungent smell of old chicken salad, macaroni and cheese, and chips.
Good lord! Ian's been cooking shit again.
I couldn't breathe. I struggled to one of those windows and slid it open, gasping in the fresh air.
What the hell? Does no one take out the trash in here?
I glanced around the room and immediately locked eyes with a face on the wall. ... Wallid? A giant version of Wallid's face was watching me from the wall next to the door. I shivered.
I do not like it in here.
Turning away, I caught a note on the blackboard. I'm not taking out the trash anymore. Please learn to do it yourselves. Jeff. Me neither. Love, Caddy. Just below it were a bunch of scribbles that looked like an argument about who could and could not take care of themselves, with different colors and chalk, scribbling out each other's sentences.
That sounds about right.
That explained that. I shook my head and began searching the desks in the room. Most were empty, but...
What the hell is a gun doing in here?
Well, that seems like a problem, Hana.
Then I'll pull up my Beretta.
Slaughter was written in sparkling silver Sharpie on the side.
I'm going to die in here. I just am.
Well, it's nice that we have such silly music to go along with that.
Yeah.
Leaving the desk behind, I crept my way through cabinets at the back of the room. Old candy wrappers, several obscure alternative music CDs, and a set of extremely expensive-looking microphones and headphones. An old notebook? I took it out and flipped through the first few pages. Inside were cartoons drawn in thick ink. Nokimon, a pink ball of fluff, anthropomorphized rocks.
Hey!
These aren't half bad.
But nowhere did I see reference to the boots. Sighing, I reached back to put the book back in the cabinet, but not before scribbling a small image of my face on one of the pages. Why would you do that?
For the lulz.
Hana!
For the lulz.
You're gonna get caught!
No, I gotta do it for the lulz.
Oh, that's fine then.
Do it for the vine.
They wouldn't suspect me. Why would I out myself by drawing my own face? All this sneaking around was getting to me. I was becoming a rebel, a bad seed. But there was nothing else I found that could possibly lead me to the boots.
I'm starting to like Hana so much more as this game goes on.
Yeah. I closed the window and left the room,
sorry.
sighing with relief as when I shut the door. The window might have been open, but that hadn't stopped the smell. Were the lights on before?
I don't know.
How in the world did those boys live like that?
With magic.
No, knowing them, winning the fight was more important than being clean.
That is absolutely true.
I also like that the dark windows still have the sunlight reflection. Just because they changed part of this for the nighttime thing.
yeah.
It was a wonder they were all friends with how much they picked on each other. But then, that was probably the point. So, their lockers must have been right around there too. I stood on my tiptoes, peeking into the slats on the fronts of the lockers. How do you peek in through those slats? Aren't they angled upward like that?
Some of them are. I've seen a lot though, especially my middle and primary school, where they had the slats there, but they weren't angled enough. So if you looked at them right, you could see mostly into the locker. So it just depends on the type.
Interesting. It looks like that for these, though.
Yeah.
I couldn't open them without Mai's help, but I could at least see what they had in them. But as I peered through them, I came up empty. Playmaster games, a hamster wheel, something called an Ian box, a Rulian shield.
Can I play with Ian's box? I wanna.
Okay.
Leave it just like that.
Their lockers were weird, but there was no sign of the boots.
I'll fly down to Texas to play with Ian's box.
As I headed back to the dorm, my heart sank.
He's a very pretty man.
It wasn't the Hidden Block Club. Really, that should make me happy.
You're right, I shouldn't. I'm Satch Girl.
It should be good that they were true friends to the normal boots guys.
And I couldn't do that to Satch. He's too good to us.
But they were my only lead, really. Now I was back to the very beginning, no better off than I was before.
It would not be copacetic.
I climbed to my room with heavy steps. It was already 1 a.m. I had no idea how much time passed. I changed in my pajamas and stumbled into bed. Great, how worthless was I? We should probably call it here, huh?
Yeah, if you want to.
We can keep going if you want, I don't mind.
I feel like we haven't done much of anything. There hasn't been a decision in this episode.
Alright, let's continue.
I mean, we haven't clicked a single damn thing. We've just been reading dialogue.
We'll just go longer, I'm okay with that.
I know you like it longer.
I do. I stared at the book in front of me. I was supposed to be reading, following along with what Miss Shizuka was teaching. Instead, I yawned. The words blurred together in front of me, talking about how a badger made of honey once befriended the 13th cat of the zodiac. I had an even harder time getting up this morning. I didn't think just a few days of less sleep would affect me so much, but they definitely did. I yawned again. Surely it wouldn't be a...
I'm trying to figure out that badger made of honey reference, but... Yeah, no, you got me on that one.
It's probably a video game thing. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah. I don't know that one. 13th cat of the zodiac? Well...
I couldn't see a... Strange images swirled in front of me. The boots. The dent in the locker. Satch. Oh, Satch. I was looking at him in the library. This was back when I told him I was going to help him. He was in such a panic. But now that I was looking at it again, I remembered the librarian much more clearly. She was glaring at him so venomously I could feel the heat from where I stood. There was no way she would do anything wrong to him, right? Right? Something shoved into my back and I snapped awake. Feng Shui! Say Feng Shui!
Feng Shui?
Miss Shizuka, who was staring at me from across the class, put her hands on her hips.
Yes. Oh, was that her voice? Just, yes. The answer is Feng Shui. And what is its purpose?
There is none.
Yeah. If you place yellow objects at the front of your house, you get more money. And red at the back of the room, people will give you stuff.
Yeah, that's how Animal Crossing do. Shizuka squinted at me.
I like my breathy words. Well, not incorrect. We're talking about the traditional effects of Feng Shui now, Miss Mizuno, not the old country superstitions. Please pay better attention. Yes, ma'am.
I sat back down and shot a grateful look at Mai. She nodded to me, face full of concern. I smiled at her and turned back around, hoping that would ease her mind. But as I looked at my book, I suddenly realized I had no idea what the lesson was even about. It's about Feng Shui.
Yeah, and badger cats.
Yeah. Hana. Hana!
Wait, what happened?
Someone set us the bomb. I blinked at her. My eyes felt gooey and slow, like they were glued shut by gangsters. Class is over. It's time for lunch.
What?
Oh, already? But did I miss all morning?
Mai nodded. I sat up and looked around the classroom. Only a few stragglers remained, jotting down final notes.
Er... Oh, no.
I'm sure you've been really stressed about everything that's happened, but it's not good to fall asleep in class.
I know that. It's not like I'm trying to fall asleep.
But still, this was not good. Asagao Academy was a prestigious school. People only got in if they had high academics, lots of money, or were extremely talented in some way. I was none of those things. The scholarship student. I was the way the school and other students felt better about themselves. I feel like Asagao is becoming more and more like the high school in Danganronpa. You know, with less murder. So far.
Okay. So we just gotta, knife a few people.
We should probably play Danganronpa. I think that would probably be a good fit for this channel. It's not, like, on our list or anything, but maybe we'll add it to the eventual list.
Okay.
If I dragged down the school's image, they'd kick me out without a second thought. I wasn't even sure how I made it in the first place. It's not your fault if you're having trouble sleeping. Come on, let's go to lunch and not worry about it, yeah? I nodded and stood, feeling somewhat like I was not part of this world. The walls blurred as we headed out of the classroom. Maybe if I touched one, I'd fall right through. Oh, hey, girl.
Oh, what the fuck?
When we opened the door, we almost walked right into John and Pupagoo.
John's voice, oh god!
Yeah, perfect.
Hey!
Hey! We were just coming to get you guys.
Oh shit? Wait, you're talking to us again? I glanced from the overly cheery John to PPG, who was avoiding eye contact with me. Not really, he's looking straight the fuck out my face.
Yeah, that's what he does.
It had been 3 weeks since they last spoke to us. Maybe I was still asleep. Time moves weird in this game.
Yeah, it does. Whatever.
As it was, my brain was moving too slow for me to say anything about it.
So, the thing is, we want to apologize.
You do? We realized we were being total jerks. We feel terrible about it. Or at least I do.
Hey! It was an honest mistake. People make mistakes all the time.
I stared at John's broad face, trying to click together what was happening.
You ignored us for 3 weeks, and you're saying it was an honest mistake?
PBG elbowed John in the side and shot him a look.
No.
Ignore him. He sticks his foot in his mouth so much you'd think it was a lollipop. But we came to invite you to lunch with us again. If you'll still have us, we want to make it up to you somehow, and we missed you. Both of you! PBG, look, you're barking up the wrong tree here. You got us, who's all into the dark meat.
Right.
And you got Mai, who's after that philanderer again.
Philanderer?
Yes.
Okay, good word.
Yeah, that's what you said last time too. Good times.
Did I say that?
You
last
did.
time? Okay, I don't remember.
So much so that the name of the episode was The Precious Philanderer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I should probably pay more attention to our channel.
He does not. So you're not suspicious anymore?
Well...
I didn't say that. PBG elbowed him in the side again.
Okay, sorry, I just thought it'd be funny. No, we're not. We can't speak for the others, but you have our support.
My head swam. The frustration of the past 3 weeks, the betrayal, the late nights, the tears, the whispers, the judgment, all built up inside of me. Did they want us to just forgive them and let it all go?
Let it go.
Maya looked at me, waiting for my decision. It seemed she didn't know what to make of it either.
Interesting. Okay, so we finally get to his decision, so we can make this decision.
Mm-hmm.
An important one, obviously, and then we can move on and call that an episode. We'll do our shoutouts.
Sure.
This is a tough one. I think to keep in line with our independent, we're doing it just for the games, we should be saying no thanks here.
Okay, you want to go with that?
I'm not sure. What's your thought?
I think that it makes more sense for Hana to say sure. It's kind of hard to say though.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one.
I would say sure,
and I would say no thanks. Coin flip. Okay.
Heads sure, tails no thanks.
Got it. Okay. No thanks.
All right. I smiled and shook my head, trying to let them down as politely as possible. This was way too sudden. I couldn't just get over everything that happened immediately. Maybe that made me a bad person. Maybe that meant I held grudges.
Could be.
But I couldn't just forget what happened, even though part of me wanted to be friends with them again, even though part of me missed them. I understand. But the invitation stands if you change your mind. I nodded, then turned and left. I hope to... you want... Okay, we'll call it here.
Yeah, it closed out that scene, and we said we were going to end it there, because we're already at, 40 minutes.
That's fine.
So, yeah. Cool. I think we finally made a decision. Good. I feel like that's an actual episode now.
Yes.
So, okay. Let's go and do our shout-outs.
Cool. I'll go first. I'm going to do a shout-out to a book by a guy called R.R. Virdi called Goblin King. Now, I haven't read any of his previous books, even though I really want to, because none of them are on audiobooks. But this is his first audiobook that he has, and he was giving out free copies, and I was like, oh, I want one. And I read it, and I actually really enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Because I wasn't sure if I would like it so much because I'm a little sick of the thing about an MMORPG and they get stuck in it or whatever kind of trope that we've seen so many times over the past several years.
Right, like with Dot Hack
and Sword Art Online.
And Overlord, and yeah.
It's happened a few times, and I'm a little sick of it. And this book also kind of does that. But it's got a lot more interesting backstory stuff to it that I'm interested to see what happens in the future with that. And a lot more interesting kind of things that are happening in real life and all that kind of stuff. I do recommend it. In particular, I recommend the audiobook because in a lot of the time, audiobook narrators will phone in a song. They'll just kind of say the song to a slight medley, like you have in Harry Potter with Stephen Fry. I know that Jim Dale actually goes kind of more in with the songs. It's just too bad that the rest of his books suck in comparison.
That's true. Even I hate Jim Dale.
Yeah. But in this particular book, there's a bard who sings a song in the middle of it. And the narrator goes all the fuck in. He actually, wrote the music for the song and everything like that. He sang the song. He composed everything in it. It was really good.
Nice.
And I appreciated that. You don't see it very often in audiobooks. Sometimes you do, but it's kind of rare.
I should probably give it a listen then.
It's a good time.
Yeah. And I'm becoming slowly more of a fan of R.R. Virdi because we follow him on Twitter.
Yes.
And he's super reactive with us. He even knows that we're two separate people.
Yeah, he remembers that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But he also recently got a bad haircut.
Yes.
And he posted a pic of what he wanted, and it was of a younger him with slightly shorter hair, and he let it grow out. And he tried to get a haircut back to that, and the lady did not do a good job. He even did an official complaint thing, hey, what do I do here? I need a haircut. I have to present myself to people because that's kind of his job. And yeah, she did not do a good job. But it is the before pic that I was just like, ooh my hot damn. Whew. That was
the vapors.
Yeah, I needed a tall glass of water after that.
Yeah. Bobby's all like, hey Ronnie, you can get it, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's cool because he's in my Dresden Files group on Facebook too.
Oh nice.
So sometimes I just interact with him there, and that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, he's a super active guy. Everything that I've seen him post about, I really like. So the more we're slowly interacting with him in the internet space, the more I'm liking him. And now I have an excuse to read a book, because I guess I need to read Goblin King.
Yeah. And I really want to read his other books, too. The Grave Dealings, and I think it's called the Grave Report series. Apparently they're really good, and Jim Butcher also really likes them.
Nice. Which
made R.R. Virdi's day, which is how I found him in the first place, was I read an article about him writing that his favorite author had liked his book and what that meant to him and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, very cool.
I thought that was a very cool article, which is why we started following him. So, yeah, check out Goblin King. It's pretty good, especially if you're into that kind of thing with the RPG kind of thing. It's good stuff.
Yeah, so if you like Sword Art Online, try it out.
It's better than that.
Yeah, it's definitely better than that, because just about anything is better than that.
Anything's better than Sword Art Online.
Especially if you look in the second half of Sword Art Online, where it got fucking stupid.
I got so bored watching Sword Art Online.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was my shout-out to continue from last time, where I'm still playing Final Fantasy X, because we recorded this episode same day as the last episode. Matt McKenzie, who does the voice of Auron. And Auron, for me, when I was playing Final Fantasy X, and voice acting was just coming into my realm of thing, because PlayStation 1 didn't have a ton of, like, fully voice-acted games or whatever. I can't even think of one off the top of my head. I'm sure there are, and I'm sure I've played them. I just can't think of one. But Matt McKenzie, as Orin, was just like, wow, that's a badass. And his voice acting to match it was really, really good.
Crash and Spyro games with voice acting, right?
Yes. And I imagine like a lot of the fighting games, too, would have full voice acting.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Crash and Spyro games do. I didn't play those, but I've seen enough coverage from the remakes that I'm pretty sure that the originals had voice acting.
Okay.
Because some people were complaining about the Spyro's remakes voice acting compared to the original.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Final Fantasy X has gotten a lot of hate for the voice actors, and I'm disagreeing with it, especially now doing the HD remake playthrough.
You'll notice he's not doing a shout-out to Titus, though.
I'm not Titus, whatever that voice actor is. Not because of that scene. I just don't like the character or the voice actor in that very particular instance.
Yes.
So, no shout-out for him. I'm going to find something else that he's done that I liked, and I'll do a shout-out for that. Just not for Final Fantasy X. But yeah, Final Fantasy X has gotten way too much hate for the voice acting. Especially now, replaying it when I've had more knowledge and doing this channel, seeing a bit more of what actually goes in behind it, and I'm appreciating the voice acting a lot more. So I think most of them were doing an amazing job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm trying to knock all of them off my list. And Matt McKenzie is Orin, definitely a badass character with a badass voice. I love him so much.
Can you do anything else?
I'm going to have to look that one up.
Okay.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I know I looked it up before. But yeah, why not? Let's do it here on the channel. Matt McKenzie.
Right. He is doing him some Google foo.
That's right. That's what I do.
He's doing Google foo.
Yeah. Matt McKenzie on IMDb. Here we go.
Call me Mr. T. Because that's me. You look at a picture of me, you're like, oh yeah, that's Mr. T.
Let's see. Oh, he's done some number of films. So like Vampire Hunter D. Okay. He was in Medium. He was in Mad Men and 2.5 Men and 24. He does Orin in Kingdom Hearts, which is good. Because sometimes they can.
A lot of them, they don't have the same. I know that they had Sean Astin do Hercules.
And I know I'd seen his face before when I looked at him. He was in an episode of House. And I'm like, I knew that motherfucker. So that makes a bit more sense.
Okay.
Because I watched all of House. He was in The Animatrix, which, okay. He was in Ninja Scroll. That's interesting. Final Fantasy. He was in Final Fantasy The Spirits Within. Sorry about that.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that's not good. Reign the Conqueror, Vampire Hunter D, Todd McFarlane's Spawn. It's just additional voices.
Okay.
He was in an episode of Third Rock from the Sun, so instant god tier. He's done a whole bunch of normal movies. He did additional voices for Princess Mononoke, which is awesome. He was in a Jet Li movie called Black Mask that I swear to God I'm the only person to have ever watched. So, yeah. I've never met anybody else that's done that.
Yeah, because they haven't put Black Mask in a Batman movie yet.
Yeah, he's done a lot of live-action television series and movies, and he's been acting for a while. He was in Moonlighting way back in '87.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
He's been around, and it seems like occasionally he just does voice acting work.
Makes sense. I've heard a lot of actors talk about, oh yeah, it's an easy afternoon or whatever to just do that. So
yeah. I suppose. But yeah, I've seen him before. So there's his picture.
Okay.
Wandering.
Fair enough.
Right? You can tell, like, I swear I've seen that maybe somewhere.
Sure.
He's been on a whole bunch of television shows.
But yeah, alright guys. We will continue on with Asagao next time.
Thank you so much, guys.
Alright, goodbye.
Bye.